Let's start. So guys, you can see this calculator screen. Now follow this screen, and whatever I am saying, you can follow this cursor that is moving in the calculator screen, and whatever I am saying, you can follow that and do perform along with me to take the maximum benefit. See, the calculator is an instrument for you, for all the CFA candidates that are here, that are willing to appear for the exam. This is your instrument. The person who knows the best to use his instrument will win the game. It's very simple. So the unfortunate thing is that I have seen lot of people, they have cleared level 2, they are in level 3, some have cleared level 3, but what functions I am going to tell you now, unfortunately they don't even know about that. So whatever they know, the basic function like how to use this time value, how to use this statistic, etc., because as part of the program you are bound to use that, but they only know 2 3 functions, 4 function and normally they don't do that, no other function. But this calculator, believe me guys, has to offer a lot. Your life in CFA till level 3 will become much easier after this session if you have actual knowledge of how to use the calculator. So this 2.5 hours is going to benefit that. Okay, I will start off with this format button. Okay, each and every button will cover. Before that, as you can see the calculator, for those who are seeing it for the first time, the calculator, each button of the calculator or almost all the buttons of the calculator serves 2 functions. One that is written on the button, that we all know, like if I press a 7, then obviously this 7 will come. If I press a 7, then this, one second, if I press a 7, as you can see, this 7 is coming.
Sir,
yes.
So could you shift the calculator a little on the left hand side?
Yeah, I have done that. Now you can see it. Okay, as you, if I press 7, you will be able to see the 7.
Sir,
yeah,
you need to shift the calculator completely left.
Completely left. Is it not visible till like here? Is this fine?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. This is fine.
Okay. This is fine, right? This is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fine. Okay. So now if I press 7, you can see the 7 on the screen, correct? If suppose I want to, but above that also there is something written. So how to use that? There is a button called second button. Second means that if you want the calculator to, if you want to say to calculator that perform the function that is written above the button, not on the button. On the button we all know, but if it is written above the button, I want to use that, then how you will do that? See, you will do, one second, you will press the second button first, second, and then you can press the 7 button. Once you see, now it is showing X01, which is not the normal that we saw when we press the 7 button, right? So how to use the function that is written above the button? The answer is very simple. Press the second and then press the button. So that second button activates that thing. Okay. Now, before, if you purchase a new phone, if you purchase a new laptop, then don't you have to do first time setting, or everything is customized according to you? You guys always have to do some setting to make it more personalized, to make it more customized for you yourself, correct? We have to do that. Similarly, here also this calculator which is given is new to you, and you will have to do some customization and personalization. How you will do that? This format button is going to help you. See, press the button second and press the button format. When you do that, now you are going to see how many things the calculator has to offer in this one stance only. Firstly, the decimal. In how many places of decimal you want to your calculator to give you the answer, basically the response. Okay, how to do that? It is 2 decimal places, it can be 3 decimal cases, it can be 5 decimal places. Suppose I want to set for 5 decimal places, which I usually advise my student, because you have currency also, and in currency generally till 4 decimal places the currency numbers are given at times. So press a 5, press this enter button. You will see now that the calculator is till 5 digits. The functions that we see are till 5 digits. Okay. So second if you want to shift it back to 2 digits, then what you will do, 2 and then again a enter. See, it is shifts back to 2 digit. This is the background setting you are doing. So okay, I would suggest all the students to keep it till 5 digits. I personally also keep it till 5 digits, and that is what I suggest to my students also. Okay, arrow down. Now
Sir,
this
what
is,
if we keep till, excuse me, sir,
yeah,
what if we keep till 9 digits?
then you will not be able to get the further number, like the main numbers you will not be able to get. 9 digit
Oh,
is too much, so calculator
oh.
has a capacity on the screen, right? Okay,
Hmm.
this is degree and this is radian. Okay, there, okay, now suppose if I want to switch that, what are the other options this same function have? How I will get that? You will get it like, you can press the second and then enter. When I press the second, as I told, the function above the button activates, and then above enter is something which is called set. Set means you are switching it. If I press that, you see it is rad. We have not pressed arrow down. Understand first, when you press arrow down, you move to the next setting, but I am not moving to the next setting. In the same setting, I am switching the settings. How will I do that? By pressing second and then enter. This set button helps me do that. Now we all know that there are two things, that is degree and radian. Sir, this degree and radian is of no use for my CFA exam, so I won't spend time on that, but just wanted to explain you. This is very important, because when we will use the date function, when we will use the bond function, which, trust me guys, very limited people know about this, then you will understand that this date function is of very much important. Okay, one second, let me take my pen to write something. See, across the globe, I don't know, there may be others also. Yeah, I will repeat that. I will repeat that. Okay, just give me some time. I don't know how many of you, as far as my knowledge is concerned, there are two date formats that are followed across globe. So the first date format is DD, MM and YYYY format as per the calculator, correct? And the other is MM, DD and then a YYYY format. Okay. Now, as you can see in US and globally, this function, like this DDMMYY form, this MMDDYY format is followed. So people who are here from US or in that part of the world where this format is followed will be more relatable and comfortable to this format. The one you see on your calculator 1231 1990 is which format? It's sir MMDDYY format. Okay. In India, and now I am switching in other parts of the world, now I am pressing second and then enter. Okay, in India I can say that, and it's writing EUR, so I presume, but I don't know exactly about Europe, but in European few regions also, or maybe this particular format DDMMYY format is followed. Okay, so now if a candidate from India, from that part of the world where this particular format is followed, wants to wants to be more comfortable with his own format, his or her own format, then what that person can do? That person can do this type of setting. You change yourself from US to EUR. For those who are comfortable in MMDDYY, continue with US. The calculator comes with the default setting of this MMDDYY only. The default setting is this one. But suppose I want to change my setting and I want to move into this format, then what I will do? Then you can change yourself to second by pressing second and then set. You can set your calculator to that particular format. The format that you use purely depends on the, basically purely depends on what you want to or how you want to go about it, basically. Okay, I will set myself for EUR, like DDMMYY format, because I am personally more comfortable with that. Okay, now one second, arrow down. Okay, now this asks for how many decimal places you want your responses numbers to be. Is it 3 decimal places like 1000 and then 3 zeros, or is it like more number of places? One second, second and then set. So if you see, if I move to European format, then it is 1.0000. So the 1000 that comes is in US mode and one decimal place is in EUR mode. Here I would suggest to stay in the US mode only, don't change it, because otherwise it will make the calculations confusing. So choose to be in this mode only. Okay. Then again a arrow down, AOS. Now let me explain that. We will keep it in AOS only. AOS stands for algebraic sum. Okay. And if I press the second and then I press the end set button, it is called CHN. CHN means the chain method. CHN means the chain method. So chain method means if I follow the bracket, then suppose if I follow right bracket 2 plus 2 bracket close minus bracket 3 plus 3 bracket close minus 5 plus 5, then what how the calculation will be solved? Will it be solved like line by line, or will it be solved using the BODMAS rule? We all have heard about BODMAS rule, right? Plus minus and then some divide multiply types, that one. How it will be followed or how it will be solved, how my calculation will be solved? So the calculator says that it will be solved using your, if you select the AOS method, AOS, then it will be solved using the BODMAS rule, which is not, which we don't want, because we don't want to follow that, because you will be using calculator function, bracket function in the calculator, and this bracket function you would always want yourself to be solved in the chain method, in the chain format. So always move to this CHN, don't follow the AOS method. Hello. Yes, I will take your questions. Yeah. So follow this chain method. Okay, Victory, and there are 4 comments. I will check that once I complete this function. Okay, I will take your question. 1 second. Okay, keep it on the chain method only, as I was saying. Don't follow the AOS method. These are the basic setting, and VIB is of no use. You can leave that. Okay, so this is what it is. This formatting thing is covered. Be careful about choosing the date, because now I will be using that, and you will also use that going forward, and it will be of very significant importance. Okay, now coming to the first, the chat box. So what are the comments I have on the chat box? Sir, can you please repeat the bracket thing? Bracket Musa, we will cover in detail the bracket thing. So just wait for that. Does this setting
read this AOS and chain thing again? Sorry, I was not able to follow.
AOS is BODMAS rule, and chain is like following it in the sequential way you enter. So we will keep it in chain method. Personally, we will not change it to the BODMAS rule. Because the way we will be using the calculator, you will be using the bracket, which I will explain after some time. And there the chain method will help. The BODMAS rule may create some confusion. So we will keep it as CHN. Keep it as CHN. Okay. Sir, please repeat the date part. Date we will be solving. So Khyati, if you want, you can select the DDMMYY format. You can select the MMDDYY format as per your wish, depending on the way you want to solve it. You want to keep it. Enter the date. Sir, can you repeat that bracket thing? We will cover it in detail. Yeah, Victory can. Yeah, okay. The people has been muted. Yes, please, bracket thing. Hager, bracket, we will be covering it in detail. We will be solving calculation also as part of this. So when we'll solve, you will be able to understand that. Okay. Victory, if you want to unmute and say something, you can say that. Otherwise, I am moving to the next part.
I was asking, what's the best, how many decimal places the best for the
5.
exams?
5.
5.
For
Okay.
CFA exam, 5 decimal places, because there is currency also. Currency covers 4 decimal places. In currency, you will see we in exam questions comes up to 4 decimal places. So 5 is the best. Okay. Yeah. Now coming to this date function. Now as you can see, there are a lot of functions over here. Okay. We will be covering all the functions individually. Not the normal buttons. Everyone knows how to use the normal button. So that is of no, like I will not explain that. So above the button is date. Now see how you will enter the date. This is a very unique thing in this calculator. Press the second. If I want to enter into date function, press second and then press 1. Then only you will be enter into date function, correct? When you guys will study fixed income, which is a pain point for CFA students, and let me put it very frankly, because majority of the students don't love fixed income. You will get to know, and you will be required to do number of days calculation. Number of days calculation as per actual. So there are different ways to do number of days calculation. Let me give you a feeler. Number of days calculation basis actual, or number of days calculation basis 360. Now what is the difference? There are some bonds in real world in the US market which offers the interest or the coupon basis actual, and there are certain category of bonds which follow 360-day basis. So now it depends on you, that it depends on the question as to what you have to do or what you have to select. Okay, I have seen students making error in number of days calculation, and if you make error in number of days calculation, it is but obvious your answer is going to be wrong. Okay, so now how to go about it, or how to solve that? The way is that you will enter over here dt1 is the start date. So suppose I am being given to calculate the number of days, to calculate the coupon, I will have to enter the start date, I will have to enter the end date, and this will give me dbd. dbd means days between dates. What is the days between dates? But the question arises that, sir, just now you told that there is two things, actual and 360. How are we going to calculate? If suppose I want to do it for 360 basis, how are we going to do that? So sir, the calculator has that smartness and that offering for you. ACT stands for actual, and second and then enter stands for 360. If you want it for 360, you can set it at the tone of 360, and when you do the above calculation, automatically calculator will solve basis 360 and similarly for basis actual. Now let us actually plug in the date, and this is the catch. If you try to plug in the date, you will not be able to do that if you have never done it before. Why, Mohit? Why is it so? The question arises, sir, I am using DDMMYY format. Okay, DDMMYY format means if I am to enter today's date, which is 31st 07/2021, correct? This is my today's date. If there is a candidate who is using US format, that is MMDDYY, that candidate will enter 07/31/2021, correct? These are the two formats. Now I am using the first one. Let me plug in the date, and you also guys try and plug in the date in the normal tone. Normal tone would be 31.07.2021 021, and if I enter, there is an error. Mohit, I am not able to enter that. What to do? How to enter? It is not taking the date. So the right way to enter the date is, and understand and be very careful about this one. The right way to enter the date is 31, first two digits, then a decimal. So I want to enter 31st July 2021. I will enter 31.0721 and I will press enter. This way calculator accepts the date. This is the only way calculator will accept the date. So if I want to enter 31st July 2021, the way I will enter is 31.0721. Now my friends who are using the US format will be finding it difficult at this moment, because if you try to enter 07, the calculator will take only 7, because understand that 0 cannot be a first digit. It has no meaning. So calculator again is smart enough to understand that. For example, if suppose someone is there who wants to enter, second date. If suppose there is suppose I want to enter a date 01/08/21, that is tomorrow's date. Okay, now here is the 0 first. How I will enter that? It's very simple. You will enter only one dot. So if my US friend is doing entering 31st July, they will enter 7.31.3121, and when you press enter, the calculator will take your date. If my friend who are using this DDMMYV format are entering, they will enter as 31.0721. It's simple, but the pattern you have to understand. So if I am to enter the 1st August date, then I will enter it at 1st.0821. Okay, and I will press enter. See, 1st August 2021 comes over here. Okay, again I'm saying if I want to enter 31st July, then 31.0721 and then a enter, and I get this. Okay, now suppose my bond, the next coupon date for my bond is 31st of December. I want to calculate the number of days between that date. Okay, so here I will have to enter what? 31st December 2021. How I will enter that? It's very simple. 31.1221. Okay, and then press a enter. 31.1221. If again my friend who is using US format MMDDYY, how they will enter? 12.3121. They will be able to enter that. Then press a arrow down. This is DBD. Now you want to compute the DBD, that is days between date. CPT button will help. CPT stands for compute. CPT word stands for compute, and you can also see the compute word is activated. Whenever you will enter the requisite requirements of the calculator, and when you move to that function which needs to be calculated, this compute button will auto trigger. It will be auto highlighted. Press the CPT, this calculation will automatically be done. 150 days. So between 31st July and from 31st July to 31st December, there are 150 days. Okay, but this calculation has been done basis 360. Suppose I want to do this calculation basis actual, like I want to calculate the actual number of days between these two dates. Press a second and then press a enter. You shift to actual, then you press a arrow up, then you press a compute button. Once you do that, see the number changes to 153. 153 is the actual number of days between these two dates, and 150 is the estimated number of days. So this is the way it is done. Okay, any question on the date function? I'm open to that. The chat box is also open, and you can unmute and speak also.
So could you show how to find the actual date again?
Actual number of days?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actual number of days. Okay, 1 second. So if suppose I want to do that, I will press a arrow down to see actual. See, it is actual only. I reset it to 360. So second and then enter. It is now 360 mode. When you will go above, the dates are same. See, its ending date is 31st December. Starting date is 31st July only. And if I press now the compute button, this is changing to 150. Why? Because my mode of calculation or the base of calculation is 360. If you wanted to set it to actual, then again press a second and then press a enter. When you press a second, you are actually pressing set. Set means you are asking calculator to set the function. So again it has shifted to the actual mode. Then press a arrow up and then press a compute button. You will be able to do that. Okay.
So we should put it in the actual mode itself or the set. The set mode.
The 360 mode, that depends on your fixed income question in exam. So as I told, when you will be doing the subject fixed income, you will understand that in fixed income, coupons can be calculated basis 360. Coupon can also be calculated basis actual. So this depends on the way you want to, like what the exam question is asking. Okay. Yeah. How can you switch from actual to 360? I have shown at Adrimica. I have shown that. So you can press second and then enter. Okay. Now moving to the next function, that is the ICONV function. ICON means interest conversion. Interest conversion. Okay. So let me show it over here before I move to that. Suppose.
Hello.
Yes.
Before you move on into the ICON function, ICONV
Yes.
function.
Yes.
I want to understand something here. Maybe I'm a bit lost. My calculator keeps on showing me the T1 and the T2. Can you kindly touch on that so that I'm able to follow through
Okay, okay,
when
okay.
I'm
Okay, okay.
calculating the yes.
Okay, okay.
Thank
Just
you.
a second. Just a second. Yeah. So for entering D2E1, you have to, if I want to enter into DDMMYY format, then you have to press 31, like first two digits, dot 0721, and then press the enter button. This is the way you enter the question in exam. Sorry, enter the date in calculator. It is 31.0721, and then you press the enter. Okay, if you are using this format MMDDYY, you will press 7.3121, and then again you press enter. Then the calculator will take the date. Okay. Okay. Moving to the next function, then ICON function. Now for the ICON function, this many students would find it very useful, and for some it may be like it's okay. Let me explain this. 6% per annum. If suppose there are two offerings, one is 12% per annum compounded annually, 12% per annum compounded annually, and 12% per annum compounded semi-annually. My question is, which one will you go for? Which one will you go for? Annually or semi-annually? Which one will you go for? Annually or semi-annually? Semi-annually. Okay, I got an answer, semi-annually. Why? Why? Because that semi-annual gives 2 times compounding. EAR will be higher. Exactly, that's true. EAR will be higher, it will give me more. So that's why I want to go for that. 1 second. So this advertisement is coming. Just a second. Let me remove that. Okay, I'm sorry for that. So this this EAR, this is give you 2 times compounding. Okay. Now if this is giving you 2 times compounding, the question is, hello, the question is that what is the effective annual rate? What will be the effective annual rate for this particular thing? Actually it cannot be 12%. So suppose if I invest $100 at first step, then at the end I will get $112 only. But if I invest $100 in the second mode, in 6 months I get first 6%, which gives me 106, and then again a 6% on this 106, which gives me 6.36. So at the end I get 112.36, 36 cents extra. This extra that is coming, this extra that is coming is basically the offering that we get, basically the interest that we are earning. Okay, 1 second, can everyone go on mute please? Yeah, thank you. This extra that we are getting is what we are benefiting out of, right? Now that means $100 in the second mode becomes 112.36 and not 100. $100 becomes 112.36 and not 100 in how many times? In 3 years, in 1 year. That means the effective rate has been 12.36% and not 12%. Correct? This, whatever the annualized rate is, this is called the annual rate, EAR, effective annual rate or effective annual yield, EAY. Okay. This you can calculate using the calculator's ICON function, that is interest rate conversion function. Okay. Now I am about to show that. So suppose if this is my interest rate conversion function, first I am coming C by C to do the move out of it, second and to ICON. Okay. There are two things, NOM, EFF and C by Y. Now let me explain. You have to plug in 2 and the third can be calculated, auto calculated. Okay. So NOM means nominal rate. nominal rate means the rate that is to be compounded. Okay, EFF means the effective annual rate. What is the actual effective annual rate? What is the actual effective annual rate? Okay, this 12.36 is EFF. 12.36 is EFF for me, effective annual rate. And C by Y is the how many times in a year compounding is happening. How many times in a year compounding is happening. Okay, so let me put in first. Let's assume NOM is 12. That is my nominal rate is 12. I am plugging in situation 1 and I tell to calculator that compounding is happening only once. What am I trying to say? I am trying to say to calculator that it is 12% per annum compounded annually. It is 12% per annum compounded annually. Okay, if I go up and press the compute button, it will give me 12. Okay, now suppose if I am enter over here 12 and if I move down and I am going to the second situation means compounded semi-annually, and if I plug in, if it is semi-annual, how many times compounding will happen? Twice. So if I press 2 and then press a enter and then I'm pressing arrow up to go up to come to effective, and if I press on compute, see 12.36 is coming. 12.36 is coming. 12.36%. Okay, we can do the reverse also. So let's assume that you have 12.36. Let's take another example. If it is 12% per annum compounded quarterly, what is the effective rate? Let's assume we want to calculate that what is the effective rate. If it is 12% per annum compounded annually, then how many times compounding is happening in a year? So 4 times compounding is happening. 4, enter. Then you press the arrow up and then press the compute button. 12.55%. Okay, this is the effective annual rate if 4 times compounding happen. Okay, so from any rate to any rate you want to convert, you can use it with this function, interest conversion function. Okay, I will explain you that practically. Also, I advise to my students that you should avoid using this and you should be using a formula that I will show you now. That is the ultimate formula, and you will not find it in any textbook. This formula is like the way I have put it, it is only in my notebook or my curriculum only. Whatever you are saying is the our copyrighted content. It is our material that we have created for CFA exam. And okay, so 1 second, let me show that. Until the time you all can grasp this, and if you have any question, you can ask. Till the time I find that thing. 1 second. So here is the formula that I was talking about. Yes, this one. See the rules of conversion. Let me clear all the drawings. See the rules of conversion. Okay, from converting, this is one of the gray area for students that they find it very difficult to deal with. That how the interest rates are converted. No, these slides are shared with only our students who are enrolled with us, so these slides will not be shared. But one thing that our first 7 lectures, this slide that you are seeing is of time value of money, which is reading 6, and the first 7 lectures covering everything detailing of the slides are already there on YouTube. So any which ways you can watch our YouTube lectures to watch this basically. Okay, to get this. Now this formula, just a second, let me complete. Okay, this formula I was talking about, that this is the ultimate formula. Using, see, one of the most difficult thing that students in CFA, they find it very difficult, is interest rate conversion. So we will do that, but yeah, this formula is there. First thing is make a thumb rule. From here onwards, make a thumb rule. Thumb rule is 1 second. Thumb rule is, if it is 12% per annum compounded semi-annually, okay, sorry for my handwriting, it is 12% per annum compounded semi-annually. Okay, number 1 rule, sir, I don't see 12%. Firstly, people see it is 12% in question, in exam question, people see 12%, 10%, 8%. You have to understand that this number is meaningless. For me, this number is only to plug in that I will plug in 12 or 10 or this. It is not important. The important thing is what is written after that percentage. It is per annum compounded what? Is it compounded annually? Is it compounded semi-annually? Is it compounded quarterly? Is it compounded monthly, daily, hourly, weekly? What it is? That is what is going to be the catch point. It is not going to be the number. Students are blurred with numbers that they see that okay, it is 10%, it is 12%. Sir, how does it matter? Because any which ways we are not going to get that return. So what matters is what is written after the percentage. That should be the focus area, correct? Okay, so what is written after the percentage, which is 12%, how many times it is compounding? Okay, second rule and the most important rule, guys, take it from here onwards and follow it till throughout the CFA exam, except for one exception that I will mention. Okay, 12% per annum compounded semi-annually. Sir, I don't see 12%. Sir, I don't see 12% because this is actually not 12%. This is 6%. Think. If it is compounded quarterly, sir, I don't see 12%. I see 3% for my calculation, because in whatever calculation you are doing, will you be doing time value of money, will you be doing any calculation, you will not be using this number 12. You will only be using this number 3 throughout the CFA curriculum. So make a habit. You will never make a mistake if you make this habit, that don't focus on percentage, focus on what is written after the percentage. Number one. Number two, if it is 12% per annum compounded monthly, sir, I don't see 12. What do you see? Guys, I'm asking you, what do you see over here? And please unmute and respond. If it is 12% per annum compounded monthly, you can use the chat box also. Yes, 1%.
1%.
Yes, 1%. Make this a habit. If you make this a habit, trust me guys, your interest rate conversion things, 90% of the issue will go off. Okay. So this formula is what we explain over here. First, this is clear now. This formula, what we explain over here is like, and the language that you see, you are not going to get it anywhere. This is like I have used this own language and framed this formula in a manner it becomes easier for you to remember. After that, there are a lot of conversion example. We will be doing one of the example as part of my bracket explanation, so you will get to know that. Okay, we'll be doing that. But is it like okay, the interest conversion function, or is there any question for that?
So could you just show it once again, just one example, could you do it?
Okay, I will show that. 1 second. So it is, let me bring it to the middle that you guys told me and clear all the drawings. Okay, so let me take this example. 10% per annum compounded annually, sorry, semi-annually. How much will be the effective rate that we are trying to calculate? What will be the effective rate? So it is second ICONV. What is the nominal rate? The normal rate 10. So 10, enter, arrow down. We need to calculate the effective rate. Again, arrow down. How many times compounding is happening? Sir, it is semi-annual, so compounding is happening twice. So 2, enter, arrow up, and then you click on a compute button. 10.25%. That is your effective rate. That is your effective rate.
So when I do this, my calculator goes blank.
It should not. Then there is some issue with your like maybe you are putting some function wrong. Okay, Ankit, we can take this later towards the end, that why your calculator is not working fine for this. We'll take this later, but I think this is a calculator specific issue, or maybe you have not inputted correctly. Okay. Yep. Let me move to the third function. Okay, now the third function is very easy, and it would be of little you can do it like yourself only. It is easy. 1 second, let me show it to you. However, second and then 3, profit. So CST stands for sir cost, SEL stands for sales, MAR stands for margin. We all know the maths. Suppose $100 is the cost for something. $100 is the cost for something, enter, arrow down. Selling price is 120, so 120, enter, arrow down. then you calculate the margin. So margin is 16.67%. Now the question arises, sir, margin was 20%. The calculator calculates the margin on sales and not margin on cost. So that is why it is 16.67%. We can do the reverse also. So suppose I want to earn a margin of 30%. I am sure, enter, and my cost is 100. Now I want to compute the selling price. So you can click on the compute button. You will get the should be selling price to earn a 30% margin. Okay, but this is of no use or little use in CFA exam. Okay, coming out of it, C by C. Second, next, fourth is depreciation. Now again, a very important thing. You would have heard that there are different ways to calculate depreciation. There are different methods to calculate depreciation, correct? It is SL method, straight line method, WDV method, that is written down value method, declining balance method, DDB, double declining balance method, etc, etc, etc. Okay, as part of a FRA or our CFA curriculum, we are supposed to know about SLM and declining balance method as well as the DDB, but it is mostly the same, so I will focus on this only. Okay, these are the two methods we are required to know about, correct? Okay, so straight line method and WDV method, or sorry, DB method. Firstly, sir, this calculator is showing SL. SL means straight line. How will I move to DB? Is there a way to calculate DB? Answer is yes. Again, that same tone, second and then said SYD. No need to like this is one of the depreciation method, but not part of CFA curriculum. DB, declining balance method. I will explain why this 200 is written or etc. But I will explain that. But okay, you can move that. Second, enter. DBX. DBX stands for declining balance to the power of. Again, I will explain that. So leave that for now. SLF, no use. This is a method.
Sir, I'm
Yeah.
not getting this function at all. Even after putting second and fourth, it's coming SYD.
Yeah, SYD na. So press second and then enter, and keep on doing that till you get SL.
Second and
You will get,
fourth.
yeah, second enter. Keep on pressing that till you get this
Okay,
SL
okay.
word.
I
Yeah.
did get it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now SL, I am doing it for straight line because dealing straight line is, understanding it is very easy. Let me first show you what it has. LIF stands for life. M01 stands for the month, number of month from which the depreciation starts. First month means, suppose you have purchased the asset and the asset life is 10 years, but you want to start the depreciation or you will put it to use after 6 months. So then it will be 6. That is, from 6 month I will start to put you to use for depreciation. So that is when the depreciation starts. CST stands for the cost of the machine or cost of the asset. SAL stands for salvage value. Okay. Then a arrow down. YR stands for year. Year means for which year you want the depreciation to be calculated. This is the interesting fact. For people who have followed declining balance or double declining balance or WDV, they would be knowing that using a declining or double declining, if I ask you to calculate depreciation for the third year, it becomes a challenge in terms of time, because you will have to manually calculate the depreciation for year 1, then you deduct it, then you calculate the depreciation for year 2, you deduct it, and so on and so forth. This happens. Now this calculator offers you the advantage that you won't have to repeat that again and again, and you can just plug in the number of year for which you want, and calculator will do that auto calculation for you. And this is part of our level 1 curriculum, FRA. For those who have read FRA income statement depreciation part, you guys would be able to relate what I'm trying to tell over here. Okay, depreciation, the amount of depreciation for that particular year using that particular method. Okay, then a arrow down. RBV. RBV stands for the remaining book value. So what is the remaining book value after providing that depreciation? At what value the asset will be carried on the books? And RDV means remaining depreciable value. Means after providing the depreciation for that particular amount, what is the remaining depreciable value of that asset? Remaining depreciable value and remaining book value are two different things. Why? because of the salvage value. Because salvage value creates the book value, creates a difference between the depreciable value and the book value. That's why. Okay. Again, moving up to arrow to the method. So we are using straight line method. Now I am taking an example. Let's assume an asset has a life of 5 years. Okay, I am taking very simple numbers so that you can verbally do it and verbally able to relate it. Okay, M01. Let's start it that from day one we are depreciating our asset. CST cost is 100. Okay, enter, arrow down. Salvage value, let's assume for now is 0. So there is no salvage value. Year 1, what will be the depreciation? 20. We all know 100 divided by 5, 20. What will be the remaining book value? 80. What will be the remaining depreciable value? 80. Okay. Now suppose if I put a salvage value of $10 over here, enter, arrow down. Now see how my depreciation changes, because you know how to calculate it. 100 minus 10 divided by 5. So this becomes 18. So my depreciation for the year is 18. My remaining book value is 82 and my remaining depreciable value is 72. Okay. Now suppose I want to calculate this same thing for year 3. Mohit, you are saying that we can do it for any year, the book value. I tell you that calculate what will be the book value at the end of year 3, book value. So it will be, depreciation amount will be 18, same because it is straight line. See, the book value changes to 46. So after third year, the book value of the asset will be 46, while the depreciable value of the asset will be 36. Okay. Guys, don't do that. I think someone has mistakenly done that. Okay, I'm clearing it off. Right. Okay. Now let me go back and change to one more method, and very important method that will be used in CFA curriculum, and that is part of a CFA curriculum. That is second and then set DB, double declining balance method to 200. 200 means what? You know that 200 means twice the rate at which the depreciation under straight line is provided will be provided at the double rate. That is why it is called declining balance, or at times double declining balance method. That is why it is written 200 over here, fixed 200. If I use that and now I presume that everything is same, the life is say 5 years, the starting date is same, the cost is same, etc. And let me take the salvage value as 0 for now. Let me put the salvage value as 0 for now, arrow down, and let me take it for year 1 only, enter, arrow down. See, the depreciation is $40. What would have been the normal depreciation under straight line if there was a 0 salvage value? Mohit, we calculated that it is it was $20, and see here it is $40. Do you know why it is $40? Because we are using 200 rate. Above we have entered over here 200. What if we enter 250? Let's enter 250, enter, arrow down. Then see, the depreciation amount goes up to 50. That means whatever the normal straight line rate would have been, it will multiply it by 2x, 2.5x, 3x, etc. Now that will be 200, 250 or 300. That will depend on the exam question. Okay. If you want to calculate it for year 2, let's assume for year, let's put in a salvage value of $10 and see how does it work. Then you see it remains unchanged at 50. Your remaining book value is that, but your remaining depreciable value is 40 only. Okay. Now if I put in, suppose for year 2, see, the remaining depreciable value is that 25, 25 and 15. So this is how it is basically done. Okay. Any question on the depreciation? Any question on the depreciation part?
Is there a, excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a residual value input? an input for a residual or
No,
output
that is
for it?
no. Only the values that you see before year can be input, and year also. So till year all the values can be input and all the remaining values are the output. So till here you can do the input till year, because you have to input year for which you are seeking salvage value, cost, depreciation start date and life. All these and method. These are your input values you can select. But from depreciation, RBV and RDV are the output values. We cannot change that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? You can use the chat box also, guys. Okay. Now moving to the next, that is second, one second, second and then this one. So this is again a very easy and old, new and percentage change and PD. This is a normal one, but this is very useful. Let me tell you how. It depends on how you apply it. When you will go to statistics, then there is a concept called geometric mean. Geometric mean return also. In that we calculate the compounded average growth rate. In finance world, if you would have heard the word CAGR or compounded average growth rate or compounded annual growth rate, this helps you compute that. This helps you compute that, the compounded average growth rate, the CAGR. How you go about it? Sir, what is the old value that you put in? What is the old value? Suppose the old value or the portfolio value was 100 and after 3 years the portfolio value have become 180. What is the percentage or annualized return? That is the question. You would have to do manually. The manual process is 180 divided by 100 and then you apply a power 1/3 and etc. and so on and so forth. This also you can do. You are free to do that. Otherwise, you can use this function. In old, you will enter 100, then a enter and then a arrow down. In new, you will enter 180 and then a enter and then a arrow down. You are calculating percentage, but before that, here they are asking what is the period over which this change has happened. This is the catch. If you leave it at 1 and you click on the compute button, obviously the change is 80%. We also can see that. But if you want to, if you put in 3 years and then you ask the calculator that what is the percentage change, that will say 21.6%. That means the compounded average growth rate, that is the CAGR of the portfolio, is 21.6% roughly. This is your CAGR, geometric mean, compounded average growth rate. So this function helps you calculate that directly. Okay, I told you, you will get to see a lot of function, a lot of such functions which help you in your day-to-day life in speeden up, and especially this gains advantage in exam. So in exam you will be quicker compared to a person who doesn't know it. Okay, and all these functions are there in calculator, but people don't know it. You go and ask your level 2 and level 3 friends. I know that majority of they also don't know, and this is unfortunate. Okay.
Sir, I
Yeah.
have a question here.
Yeah.
What if they are for the multiple periods also?
Multiple periods means multiple sub periods.
Yeah, sub periods. Like in year
Yeah,
one, it will,
in that case, this will be of little help to you. But if you see the geometric mean questions in exam and CFA curriculum also, they have not been for sub periods. They have been for periods only. The geometric mean calculation, I am only specific targeting this.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I have a chat box too. 1 second. Come. Can you please this function missed this part due to network error? So Khyati, this is basically a geometric mean calculation function where if suppose your old value was 100, your new value was 180. The old portfolio value is 100, new portfolio value is 180, and if I am trying to calculate the compounded average growth rate, what I will do? Suppose I am towards second, and one more function I am explaining with the help of Khyati only. If you want to clear any data, all the functions that we are using over here, we have to clear the data, right? We cannot continue with old data. So above C by C, you see there is written CLR work. CLR work means clear work. Okay, so I have already pressed the second, and when you press second, you will see on your calculator screen the second is activated. Press a C by C. See, all the data has been removed. This clear work works for entire calculator except for the time value of money function. There we will have to use clear TVM. So there is a specific button CLR TVM, that is clear TVM. To clear this 5 buttons data, you will have to use this function. Except for that, the entire all the functions data can be cleared using this particular button. Okay. So now Khyati, I will plug in the old, that is the starting value 100, and then I press a enter, press a arrow down. In the new, I press 180, then I press a enter, then I press a arrow down. Here I then again you press a enter, arrow down, you will see period. This is asking for how many years this change has happened. You press 3, then you press enter. If you press arrow up and if you press compute, you will get your compounded average growth rate. This is also your geometric mean. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Coming to the next part, that is break even. Now again, this is one of the function which will be least used in CFA exam. See, this is a function which is used in marginal costing. So if you guys have ever heard of the term marginal costing, you would be able to understand that there is something called fixed cost. So FC stands for fixed cost, VC stands for variable cost, P stands for the price of the product, the selling price of the product, PFT stands for the profit, and Q stands for the quantity. You put in 4 variables, any 5th variable can be auto calculated. So suppose my fixed cost is $100, enter, arrow down. My variable cost is $2 per unit, 2 per unit, because variable cost is always per unit. My selling price is 3 per unit, enter, arrow down. And suppose I want to know what is my break even quantity. Break even means no profit, no loss. So I am putting a PFT of 0, and I again press a arrow down. I want to compute the quantity. We all know, without any calculator also, we all know that I am selling it for 3. My variable cost is 2 per unit. I am saving $1 per unit, and my fixed cost is $100. I have to sell 100 units to cover that 100 to be at a no profit, no loss situation. I press the compute button. See, quantity is 100 units. Now suppose I aspire to make a profit of $600. This is my aspiration. Now I decide or trying to select what is the number of quantity I need to sell. 700. Suppose I am selling, reverse, let's reverse the situation. I am selling $1,000. This is the backspace. If you want to eliminate any number, enter, arrow up, and then click on compute. You will make $900, etc., and so on and so forth. Okay. This 2 function are related, 7 and 8, data and stat. So I will come to it in one go. This is an important function. The bond is a very important function. I will come to it in one go. After I have completed all the small functions, we will deal with the big functions. There are 4 big functions in the calculator. The one is the time value of money, one is the cash flow, one is your data and stat, and lastly it's the bond function. All these are very, very, very important function which we will discuss in one go. I'm finishing off the small functions. Okay. Any question till here? Then I move to this bracket and all. Any question till here?
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
How can I plug the minus in the, if I want to put minus in any of the inputs?
Here, plus minus.
Negative.
This is plus minus button. So suppose if I want to enter, 1 second. If I want to enter 6 negative, 6 and then a plus minus button, then a enter or whatever. If you press into, because normally we are putting it. So this is how it is done. Suppose you want to put in 100 negative in a cash flow. You want to put in $100 negative, an outflow, $1,000 outflow. Enter 1000, then enter plus minus, then press the enter button. The negative 1000 will come in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
I want to understand what is the difference between CEC and clear work?
CEC and clear work. See, CEC means I have entered 5 into 10, suppose, and I press a equal to. Now I want to eliminate and come back to normal C. Or if I am into any function, I don't want to eliminate anything. I don't want to erase anything. I just want to come to the normal situation of the calculator. I will press C by C and calculator will be back to normal. Clear work means that I have plugged in an input in any of the function. Suppose in the date function I have put in an input, or in this second icon function I have put in C. You can see this input I have put in. Now I want to clear that input. In that case I will use clear work, that is second and C by C. Now see this function, all the inputs, historical inputs are cleared and it is fresh again. I can reuse it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question? If no, then I will move to this functions. Okay, let me move into this function, then I will again take your questions. Okay, this is something I don't need to explain. This is square root, square, and this is inverse function. So suppose 1 second, if I write over here 2 and if I press, I want to do an inverse, I can just press, I get an inverse. Whatever is on the screen, it inverses that number. Okay, bracket is a very important thing. Thing is normal, but the usage is very important. So a person, I always advise to students, my students, while taking classes as part of the master class, that as part of the master class program or anything. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, as part of this programs that we provide for CFA, master class, crash course, fast track, whatever it is, use bracket very judiciously. The one who uses the bracket is at very much big advantage. Let me explain how, and let me show it practically. I will take a practical example, curriculum related example only. 1 second. This was the conversion example that we discussed. Now this is the actual conversion formulas or conversion practice questions that we solved together, okay, as part of our program. Now let me explain it to you how it works. Rate is 10% per annum compounded annually. Find the equivalent semi-annual rate. Normal thing. If you are to find equivalent semi-annual rate, suppose I ask you to perform this function on calculator. I ask you to perform this function on calculator. How will you do that? The problem that you will face is that it will become very difficult you to solve in one go everything. What you will do, many students, what they will do is, they will practically, technically, they will write first, they will calculate this particular portion first, then they will write an outcome over here in the worksheet, then they will deduct or they will solve this particular portion and do that, and so on and so forth. And there will be much lengthier questions. This is the very basic question. Practically there can be much lengthier question, lengthier solutions or solving that can come. In that situation you will keep on writing in pieces and then you will have to re-multiply everything. But if I know how to use the bracket judiciously, I can solve this entire equation or even lengthier equations in one go. Okay, let's see how to do that. Okay, suppose I am to solve. Okay, before solving this complicated, I have a simple practice question for the calculator. So let me take that, then I will answer. Yes, this is it. See, there is a dedicated slide to that particular thing because of the importance that it carries. Okay. So suppose I am to perform this simple function on calculator, 5 plus 6 into 2. You will say that Mohit, this is something which I can do verbally. That's not an issue at all. I know we can do it verbally, but what if the number is dirty? In the sense 15,289 plus 16,325 into 18. Now suppose I am asked, and obviously the numbers will be bad when we are solving a question in exam. Okay, because you have a calculator in your hand. In that situation, you will need the calculator. So how am I going to do or solve this if I am stuck in this situation? Then I will do it in this way. 5 plus bracket open. If you open a bracket, now this 5 is kept aside. Till the time you click on the close bracket close, the calculator will not take this 5 into account, but it will keep aside. And when you click on the button bracket close, whatever internal calculation you have performed within the bracket stays. Only the outcome is taken plus this external 5 is taken and is added. Okay, so if I do a plus bracket open, I have already done 6 into 2. So if I do a 6 into 2 and press a bracket close, I am getting 12, but I have already plugged in 5. You can see the impact of 5. If I press a equal to, see, it has becoming 17. That means what? That means what I'm trying to say over here is that if I am solving this particular question, once I press the bracket open, this button, once I press this, whatever the outcome was there previously or whatever thing was there, it is left aside. It is not removed, but it is put at a standby, to put it in that way. It is put at a standby. That calculator will now perform all the functions that you are performing or all the calculation only within the bracket till the time you press the button a bracket close or a equal to. Either if you press these two buttons, then the bracket will be removed and all the calculation will be done. Except apart from that, this will not open it. If you have opened multiple brackets, suppose one performance here, one calculation here, then again one calculation here, one calculation here, and so on and so forth, and then you press want to open all the bracket, there are two ways. Want to get the solution, you have to keep on pressing the bracket close. You have to keep on pressing the bracket close, or you can press the equal to button in one go. Either of the two will do. If you keep on pressing bracket close, then also it will get closed. If you press a equal to, then also it will get closed. Then if you press a equal to, all the brackets will be broken and it will be closed. Okay. As you can see over here, there is another calculation which is relatively more complex, not in verbal terms but in putting terms, and I have also given here the steps so that you can follow this step. You can follow, one second. Yeah, so here are the steps. You can follow this step and you can clear that. So all the steps are mentioned. Okay guys, bracket usage is something which depends purely on your practice. So the more you practice, the more you will become expert in that. Okay, I'm only suggesting it because it saves a lot of time, especially in the calculation questions. So if you feel that you have developed a very strong command over bracket in your exams, in your mock exams, your questions are not getting solved, not getting incorrect because of this bracket thing, then you can use that in exam. But if you think that you have not covered this or you have not mastered this, then I would suggest that even if it takes 10 or 20 seconds more, solve the question correctly in exam. It is more important to solve the exam question correctly than to just save 10-20 seconds. Okay, but definitely this is going to speed up a lot of things. Then lastly, y to the power x button. So this y to the power x button is something which takes you to the power mode. So for example, 3 square is 9. So 3y to the power x 2 equals to is 9. The advantage of this is that suppose if I ask you to calculate or do a square of this 27 power 1 by 3. 27 power 1. In normal calculator it cannot be done, but here what you will plug in is 27 and then you will press a y to the power x button, and in that y to the power x button you can press a power 1 by 3. How? You can put in bracket 1 divided 3 equals to, and see you get a 3. Means you can solve for bad power numbers also. Bad power number means 0.25, 0.56, etc., etc., which you will get as part of your calculation and in exam also. Okay. Okay. Any question till here? Can you do this again? Which one? The bracket one or the y to the power x one? The bracket. Okay. So let me solve this example. Let me solve this example. 1 second. The power. Okay. I'm doing it now. 3, or let me put it that way, 27. Then I press a y to the power x. If I am to do power 1 by 3, then bracket open. Now once you open the bracket, you are opening it in power mode. 1 divide 3 equals to. Then you get a 3. You can do it in this way also, right? 1 second. For these questions you try to solve, you will be able to then understand actually whether you are getting it. If you want to actually test your knowledge of your bracket, then solve for conversion questions. This kind of question. Solve these kind of questions in one go. Then you will be able to know whether you have mastered the calculator or not. All these should be done without writing anything. CFA exam, there is only one rule. Don't use your pen. Use your calculator and brain. Don't use your pen. Use your calculator and brain. This is the thumb rule for especially for during the exam, and if you are preparing 1.5 months, 2 months before the exam. This is the thumb rule. Okay. Let me bring it back. Yeah. Then this is done, y to the power x. Now yeah, some more easy remaining functions. The calculator also offers you the storage function. This STO stands for store, and then this RCL stands for the recall. Can you please share the presentation? So Hager, this presentation, as I told you, that this is only shared with our students who have enrolled with us as part of either masterclass program or that. But however, still this 7 classes, the first 7 classes are these classes only where this presentation is covered, and the first 7 classes of our masterclass program is available on YouTube. So you can any which ways get this presentation from YouTube also. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 2 more chats. What's your YouTube name? Apex Academy. 1 second. Apex Academy. And one more thing, guys, in our YouTube channel, since you guys are asking, 1 second, to everyone in the meeting, I'm sending this. This is my YouTube channel name, Apex Academy. And one more thing, I'm repeating that, as I told that firstly on my YouTube channel, yes, you all can be added. This is a free WhatsApp group that we offer. You all can be added. You have my number because you get the number from which you got the Zoom link. That is my number only. that is my own number. So you can ping me on that number and then I will add you to that group. That is a free WhatsApp group, and on daily basis we either post a video or we post a free resource, a material like this, as you can see, and those are free. So as I told, there are two parts to our material. One is free, one is paid. The free materials are always shared on a daily basis with our in our WhatsApp group. So you can be a part of, and everyone, and that is a free WhatsApp group. Along with that, whatever questions, doubts you have, any regular updates like the exam result that you saw, the May exam result, 25%. We posted a video on that day only. What needs to be done? There is a video on YouTube of ours. On that day only, when the result were announced, within 1 hour, 1.5 hour, I released my video on YouTube and the links were shared. And what needs to be done, what is the way ahead, everything is mentioned in that. So there you will be getting regular update, like the scholarship window is about to open. So we will be recording a scholarship video as well as to how to apply for scholarship in this week or maybe something that. So there, and like Q&A video materials, everything on daily basis for free. The free part of the material, again the paid part, it's your thing. If you like the material, you can subscribe with us and then you can take the paid part also. The free part is definitely available for all. So if any one of you is not added to our free WhatsApp group, you can ping me from the same number from which you got that Zoom link. That is my number, and you can get in touch with me. Okay. Okay. So let me now move ahead to the function. First, explain that. This is storage and recall function. The two functions that you can see, store and recall. In this store function, you can, okay, understand, you can store up to 10 numbers, not one. You can store up to 10 numbers. How you will store? Let me show. Suppose 5 is the number I want to, or suppose 5 into 3, 15 is the number I want to store. Okay, 15. So what I will do is, I will, whatever is there. Yes.
Sir, please take your screen calculator on the center.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry for that. Is it okay? Yeah, I think it is okay now. Okay, so suppose that is the number, 15 is the number. 15 is the number, right? I want to store it. So I will press store button, but that will not complete it. So if you will recall, you will not get anything. As I told, there are 10 numbers you can store, 10 different numbers that you can store on your calculator. Okay, you have to tag the number with a numbering that you want to store. So if you press store 1, enter, then it gets stored. What does it mean? It means that when I will press a recall button, then I have to press recall 1, and then that, so 15 gets tagged to number 1. Similarly, if I am to suppose store the second, that is the next number, suppose a new number 7, suppose 7 plus 3, I am taking very easy number so that you can understand easily. 7 plus 3, 10. Now I want to store 10 also along with 15. How I will do that? I will press store 2, enter. Once I do that, store 2, enter. Now if you recall 2, you will get 10. If you recall 1, you will get 15, and both numbers are stored with you. So let me show it. Recall 2, you get 10. Recall 1, you get 15. Suppose I want to do calculation or perform calculation of both. So how I will do that? Recall 1 plus recall 2 equals to 25. So this is how the numbers are stored. So suppose you are performing a lengthy calculation, and in the CBT waste format they give, although this rough sheet and all, but if suppose the rough sheet is not given, then how you will do that? Or you don't want to write in rough sheet or etc. In that case, you can use this function. Okay. Suppose I pressed mistakenly C by C. This is a silly thing, but this happens, and this is a painful thing, especially in exam. I did all the calculation. I performed all the calculation. Everything is done. But before I can check my options and recheck my calculator, mistakenly I pressed C by C and the answer got erased. How can I recall my last answer? Yes, you can recall that using the answer function. So press the second and press equal to. See, you get 25, and 25 was the last number that was there on our calculator screen. This gets recalled. So this is something which is a savior in case you are running short of time in exam and you have mistakenly pressed C by C, or you have removed the answer from your calculator. Then it acts as a savior. Okay, this is covered. Date and all is covered. Okay, now let's solve one two big formulas, at least two big functions: time value of money and CF function. Okay, and then we'll cover some few small, and bond function is most important, which we'll cover at the last. Okay, so time value of money. Now in time value of money function, one second, let me. The time value of money function. Yeah, one second, this is CF function. This is not time value of money. Here it is, the time value of money function. The time value of money function is helpful. So in the time value of money function, there are 5 buttons that you can see. N, and what each button performs is something which we can know from here. So N is number of periods, not years. The biggest mistake that students make. N means number of, it is a default assumption that N means number of periods. N means not number of periods, N means number of years. Similarly, I by Y means interest rate per period and not year. So suppose if it is 12% per annum compounded semi-annually, then what is your N? So for 1 year the N is 2. N means number of periods the compounding is happening, not number of years. I by Y is interest rate per period of compounding. So in every 6 months, what is the interest rate? That is 6%. That is the tone, the same tone that I told you to follow. If it is 12% per annum compounded semi-annually, sir, I don't see 12, I see what? I see 6. So if you here enter 6, automatically you will have to enter here 2 for 1 year. If it is 5 years, you will enter 10, etc. and so on and so forth. So the thumb rule we all know that I by M, if you do a I by M, then you will also have to do a N into M. That is something which comes from that thumb rule only. Okay, so these are the 2 functions that is for that. I by PV, FV and PMT. PV stands for the cash inflow or outflow today. FV stands for the cash inflow or outflow at any point of time in future. And PMT stands for the annuity. The word you would have heard, annuity. So PMT stands for this annuity thing. When this same function gets repeated year over year, when the same amount is getting repeated year over year for a finite period, then it is called annuity. Okay, and this serves as the annuity function. Okay, do remember the difference between annuity and perpetuity. In annuity there is a finity, that means it is finite. Perpetuity means perpetual, which is infinite. Okay, yeah, so now let's solve some example. Yeah, here it is. So for perpetuity we can't use PM. No, you can't use perpetuity PMT for perpetuity. No, you can't do that, because PMT is for finity, not for infinity. Okay, let's solve this question using the calculator. You will be able to understand, and you can see that in our presentation all the steps are already written. So these steps are already written. You can use the how to solve the TVM function. So what keystrokes you will do, explanation on the keystroke and display. Assuming that you are doing it for the first time, this time value of money has been designed. So if you will watch our lectures, you will be able to understand, follow this. What keystroke and what you will get at what. So that it becomes like, even if we have explained, after our explanation, when you solve it on your own, you will be able to, you will be correct at every step, and you will not make mistake at any step. Okay, now let's solve this. $200,000 is invested today in a bank account at an interest rate of 6% per annum, compounded annually for 5 years. Calculate future value. So what we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to calculate the future value. Obviously this $200,000 is what? It is invested today. Is it a cash inflow or is it a cash outflow? Guys, communicate. Is it a cash inflow or is it a cash outflow? Should it be should it go into PV? It is standing at the 0th day, because cash is going out at the 0th day. It is a cash outflow, so we will enter minus $200,000 and as PV. 6% per annum compounded annually. What do you see? What do you see? 6% per annum compounded annually. Which rate? What do you see? You take active participation, then you will do the maximum benefit. 6% compounded annually. What do you see? 3%, 1.5%, 3. Okay, someone is saying 3. You can unmute and speak also. 3. It's 6% per annum compounded annually. So it is not compounded semi-annually. If it would have been compounded semi-annually, we will 3. Okay, 1 second. Remember 2 rules of conversion. Just a second. Remember 2 rules of conversion. Rule number 1. If anything is X percentage per annum compounded annually, approach is, it cannot be divided by anything in this world. You cannot divide that thing in anything in this world. What will be the approach? Make a factor, play with the power. What do you mean by factor? 10% factor is 1.1, 12% factor is 1.12, 8% factor is 1.08, minus 2% factor is 0.98. I ask you, 15% factor is, what will be the factor of 15%?
1.15.
Exactly, 1.15. What will be the factor of 20%?
1.20.
1.20. Everyone communicate. Use your chat box if you want to unmute and speak, because this is what is going to benefit. Okay, if 50% is the interest rate, what is the factor?
1.50.
Minus 3%.
0.97.
And minus 12%.
0.82.
0.88. Minus 12% is 0.88. Right. So that is the thing. Okay, this is, it cannot be divided by anything in this world. Make a factor, play with the power. Rule number 2. If anything is X percentage per annum compounded M times a year, that M is, here it is clearly written, M is 2 for semi-annual, 4 for quarterly and 12 for monthly. So if it is M percentage per annum compounded M times a year, it can be divided by only one thing in this world, that is M itself. Divide it by M, then make the factor and then play with the power. This is the rule. Divide it by M, then make the factor and then play with the power. Okay. So with this be clear, let's move up to slide number 8, where we are solving the question. Yeah. So now 6% per annum compounded annually, it cannot be divided by anything in this world because it is compounded annually for 5 years. Calculate future value. 1 second. Okay. Now, using time value of money function. First, before using time value of money, I would like to clear TVM. So you also clear TVM to remove any historical data and make it a habit. Okay. What will be the approach is, first you will enter it on decimal, means on display screen, whatever the number is there, then you will press the button. So the number and the button, that would be the tone with which we will enter. Number and the button. 200,000 negative PV. Okay. Then your N is 5. So 5N, because N was 5 years over here. N is 5. I by Y. N I by Y means interest rate per period. So here it is 6 only because it is compounded annually. So 6 I by Y. PV we have already entered. PMT is 0 because there is nothing. And then compute FV 267645. This is your FV. Okay. This is how time value of money function is used. Similarly, you can calculate anything. Suppose you want to calculate PV, you can calculate and do that. Let's move to the second slide to do that. Suppose this is the question for you. This is the question for you. Okay. Given a discount rate of 12% per annum compounded annually, what will be the present value of $5,000 standing at 5 years to maturity? Standing at 5 years to maturity. So you are asked to calculate the present value. How you will do that? First is second and then FV to clear TVM. Press a C by C. 12%. What do you see? 12 or something else?
12 only.
12 only. Why?
Because it's compounded annually.
Exactly. It's compounded annually. Okay. So we'll press 12. Then 12 I by Y. So 12 is the rate. So I by Y. 5 is N. So 5 N. PV is something which we are required to calculate. What will be the PV? So that we want to calculate 0 PMT and $5,000 is FV. We will receive 5,000. So that is why we have entered positive. Otherwise we would have entered negative. Second PV. Oh, sorry, not second PV. It's compute PV. Sorry, it's compute PV. See, this is the answer. And we can check it also to my material. This will be the answer only. You can see. And this the same thing you will get on your calculator screen. See, I am getting the same thing on my calculator screen. See, this one.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So is it necessary to always mention PMT as 0? Like if in these type of cases we know that there is no perpetuity. So is it necessary to mention PMT as 0?
Yeah, is it necessary to enter PMT? Yeah, it's necessary. If it would be more safe if you don't enter, then also it would make mistake. But yeah, if you don't enter, then it may throw an error. It may throw an error. It will throw an error basically. So that is why you can enter 0. Means you make a habit of entering 0 over here.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, moving to the next. So PV of series of even cash flows. Okay. Now coming to how to use NVT function on the calculator. See, NVT means the same amount getting repeated year over year. This is what it has been displayed over here. How the same amount is repeated. So read, assuming that an investment scheme promises to pay $500 every year for 10 years. If the required rate of return is 8%, calculate the PV. And guys, please take note of one thing. I am not explaining at all the time value of money. So this is not at all an explanation. For explanation, you can refer my videos because I take a lot of time in explaining each and every concept. So here my focus of using this example only is to show how it works on a calculator, because this is a calculator class. For the concepts, how NVT works and everything, there is a detailed explanation, much detailed explanation for everything. So you this just I'm giving a word of caution that here my focus is only on using this example to teach you how to use calculator. and not I am explaining what annuity is, because each and every slide has been explained in the class, in the normal master class program. Okay, so just a word of caution over here. Right now, assuming that an investment scheme promises to pay $500 every year, so you can see this $500 comes in every year, 500, that would be the rhythm, and for 10 years, if the required rate of return is this 8%. one more thing in exam, although CFA Institute never does this, never, but if in exam CFA Institute only writes 8%, just 8%, and nothing, it is per annum compounded annually, semi-annually, whatever it is, we will assume it to be annual. We will assume it to be percentage per annum compounded annually. Okay. Now, how to solve this in calculator? It's very simple. It's very simple. Just the n is n over here is 10 years, so 10 n, I by y is 8 because it is annual, so 8 I by y. PV is something which we are required to calculate. PMT is 500. Promises to pay, so we will receive 500 every year, so this is a cash inflow. So 500 PMT positive, 0 FV, compute PV. This is your answer. That means you have to invest minus 3355 today. That is what you are supposed to invest. Let's check our answer. Yes, this is the answer that you can see. This is the answer. Okay. Now coming to ordinary annuity. So in annuity there is one more thing which is called annuity due. There is one more thing which is called annuity due. Annuity due means which is like beginning of the period. Once again, let me show you the slide, then you will be able to understand. Yes, beginning of the period. Okay, all these slides has been explained, so I'm just again repeating, the focus is not, I'm not explaining these formulas over here because I am trying to explain you how to use the calculator. That is the focus of this class. Okay, example 3. Here the timeline is ordinary annuity and annuity due. What is the difference? The difference over here is highlighted. In annuity, ordinary annuity, the annuity or the thing starts at the end of the period. So every payment, that is 500 first month payment, will be received at the end of the month, and so, or end of the year, and so on and so forth. Beginning of the period is annuity due, when everything is received at the day 1 of the period, that is first day of the period. Okay, so 0th day, the first payment will come on the 0th day, that is 500, and so on and so forth till the last day. Okay, that the 10th day. So this is the way it is structured. Now ordinary annuity and annuity, I hope the difference is clear. How you will solve the ordinary annuity and annuity due? It's very simple. Everything is same. One second, let me show the calculator screen. Everything is same, everything will be same. Okay, the only difference that will arise is we have to activate the BGN mode. The BGN mode. Okay, as you can see over here, how to activate the BGN mode, it's written, everything is explained in the slides. Okay, to activate the BGN mode is second PMT. So above PMT you can see BGN, so we will have to press second PMT, second enter, and see the BGN word is now activated. Second PMT, second enter, the BGN word is activated, and you can now, when you will press C by C, you still see the BGN word is highlighted over here. It's activated. Whatever calculation, and this is the checkpoint. Suppose on one fine day you activated BGN, you forgot to deactivate it, your calculations will be incorrect. In exam, if you activate BGN, don't forget to deactivate it, and your calculator will also show you that BGN is activated. Now after you have activated BGN, calculator understands that all the calculation will be done at the beginning of the period only. So in that manner, you have to enter the same time value of money numbers, and all the calculation will be done using BGN. Suppose we are calculating the same PV, all the numbers has already been entered. 10, then I by Y was 8%, so 8 was entered, and then PMT 500 was entered. All this is already entered. If now I compute PV, I get 3623 instead of 3353 what we were getting. So there we got 3355. Here we are getting after BGN 3623, and you can match this with our solution also. It's the same. 3323 here, 3623 here, and 3623 here, because
So-
the BGN is activated. Yes.
So instead of doing the BGN, if we just reduce or increase the number of years, it would be the same answer, right?
Reduce or increase the
Number of years, the end.
no, that is wrong. There is another way to do that. As I told, it's not a normal class. Focus is this. This is the way. From PV of annuity due is PV of, you multiply by 1 plus I, where I is the periodic interest rate. Means if it is 12% per annum compounded semi-annually, 6% is the rate you have to multiply. If it is 10% per annum compounded quarterly, 1.025 is something you have to multiply. This is the way you can convert. You cannot do that by reducing a year or something. Your answer will be wrong. Okay. Yeah. Now this last function of this time value of money, which again many of the students don't know, is Amort function. See, Amort function is amortization function. One second. Can everyone go on mute?
lecture.
Can everyone go on mute, please? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So what I was saying is, one second. Yeah, I was saying that this is the way it is done. Now one function on time value of money, Amort function, many people don't know about it. This is amortization. One second, let me go to the slide of amortization, then I will be yeah, loan payments and amortization. Suppose I want to do a calculation. Suppose I ask you that, see, this is the way amortization table is constructed. Okay, when we all know about bank EMI, we must have heard that we always pay bank EMI. Those who have heard of bank EMI, that whenever you pay a monthly, fixed installment is deducted. That installment amount is same. Okay, but then when you pay the last installment, the entire interest and principal banks take away. What is the mechanism? You can get it using amortization schedule. Okay, so in this first amortization table, just explaining, the opening balance was $100,000. After that, $100,000. After that, if this was the installment amount, this is the interest component. How has it been calculated? Using the monthly rate. So what is the 1 month interest rate of $100,000? This is the interest. So if this is the interest and the total amount is 2124.70, automatically this balance is the principal. And this is the closing balance for first month, which becomes my opening balance for the second month. Now interest is always paid on the outstanding, not on the total amount drawn. So for this period, the outstanding is this. This is the interest, this is the principal, and this will be your closing balance. And this will keep on happening again and again. That is so on and so forth. So if suppose I ask you to calculate interest rate for the the component, interest component for the 15th period, 15th month. If I ask you to calculate interest component for the 15th month, how you will do that? Will you be creating this lengthy table for 15 months? Because for every month you need the outstanding balance and this table has to be manually concluded. The answer is no, we cannot do that. So how you will solve it in exam? There are other ways to it also, which we have explained, but apart from that, Amort function is something which is there. 1 second. And clear TVM. There is the one function called Amort function. To do the Amort function, the first thing is your time. In your time value, you have to plug in everything. So let's take an example which is there on my mat, on my study material. 1 second. Determine the EMI for a loan of 100,000 to be repaid in monthly installments over 5 years. In monthly installment over 5 years, interest rate being 10%. So here we are taking 10 divided by 12 as monthly rate of 0.833, and accordingly we will enter n. So monthly rate, because installment is being paid monthly, so everything has to be converted monthly, first thing. So now when this is the situation, my n will be 60, so I will have to do a 60 and then a n. My I by y will be 10 by 12, so you should not enter 0.83, you should enter 10 divided by 12 equals to. I will explain the maths of this when I will explain the round function, okay? But for now, just take it and do that. I by y. And whenever you do in real life also, in exam also, if it is 10 by 12, don't take it 0.33 if you know the mathematical, like you can do it on your brain. You should plug in the entire number and plug in the on the calculator, because calculator takes everything till infinite decimals. Although on screen you see till 5 decimal places, and if you have put it to 2 or 4 or 6, you will see till that decimal, but there are 3's after this also. And when you do it in this manner, calculator is actually taking all the 3's that are there till infinity. But if you only plug in 0.83 or something like that, then calculator will take till that only and the answers will differ. Okay. Second, I by y, and then PV is something which is 100,000 that we are receiving as a loan amount. So 100,000 is the PV, 0 FV, and then compute PMT. This is your PMT 2107.14. 1 second. My PMT is coming in correct. It's not matching. 1 second. 60 is n. (10 by 12) is, I think I have taken on my calculation as 0.83. 1 second. I by y, 0 FV, 100,000 PV, compute PMT 2107. It's coming 2124. If I take 0.83, then I think it will match. That's also not matching. What's the difference? This cannot be wrong. Just a second. Oh, see the difference. See my mistake. See my mistake which I was telling you. I have activated BGN mode. So I forgot to deactivate it. Guys, don't do this mistake. Okay. In the flow of the class, I forgot to deactivate it. This is a common mistake which students make. So, and I am also making that. So apologies for that. But that is why our answer was not matching. Second BGN, second set. The way, in this way only you end that. Now see, the BGN is deactivated. Now you see the BGN is deactivated. Yeah, thank you, Novin. It was activated. Yeah. Let me press a C by C. Now 60-second clear TVM, 60N, 10 divided by 12 equals to I by y. 10 divided by 12 I by y, and then your 100,000. 100,000 is your PV, 0 FV, compute PMT 2124.70. This is my EMI. Okay, that is my monthly installment. This is my EMI. Now what will I have to do is I will have to click on second and then Amort. Second and then Amort function. This is the function which will help me. Now suppose if I want to calculate the 15th month installment, 15th month interest component and principal component, how will I get it? You see P1, enter over here 15, enter, arrow down, and then again a 15, enter, arrow down. See, you get three things. What is the outstanding balance after 15th month? The outstanding balance is 79,457 after 15th month. Arrow down. What is the PRN for? Stands for principal component. What is the principal component after 15th month? It is 1450. Arrow down. What is the interest component after 15th month? It is 674. So these are the three things you get: principal component, interest component, and your this outstanding balance. Let's do it for what is there. If 1 is the thing and we have already calculated it, if we do it for 1 then what you get? So suppose 1, enter, arrow down, 1, enter, arrow down. One thing you have to be very careful about: P1 and P2 have to be same number. If P1 and P2 are two different numbers, your answer will not come. So that has to be same number. Arrow down, see the balance. It's also there in the manual table calculation. See the principal component. It's also principal component, and see the interest component. What we discussed above, that's also there. So this is the Amort function. Okay. Any doubt, any confusion in the Amort function you guys have? This is a very, very important function. The time value of money from CFA exam perspective. Any question, any doubt? Or if you guys are good, I can move to CF function.
So just a little question.
Yes.
Like why are we entering 2 times, like P1 and P2?
Yeah, so that is something, actually the purpose of P1 and P2 was different. But that actually I will have to take a separate example to explain that, and I don't want to derail because that is not covered as part of CFA. So you will not have to use it. P1 and P2, if you take two different numbers, it do some interim calculation. That is something which is used as part of actuaries and CAIA, CIB, other things, and CFA does not cover that. So that is why I don't want to derail this topic now. For you guys, you can enter P1 and P2 same number, and then you can continue. Okay. Yeah. Now the CF function. 1 second. Let me open my slide for the CF function. Yeah, this is the slide for this. Okay, this is the slide that we have. CF function has three functions, as you can see. One is CF, NPV, and IRR. These are the three buttons you have. Okay. CF means to feed the series of cash flows. NPV is net present value. See, I'm not going into detail again. NPV and IRR are covered in much detail as part of the corporate finance capital budgeting. So the meaning, everything is there. I'm just touching that and moving ahead. Okay. And our lectures definitely cover it in great detail. CF stands for cash flow. So we'll plug in the cash flow. These are the two output buttons. This is the input, this is the output. NPV means net present value. So what is the present value, net present value of the entire cash flows that you have entered in dollar terms? If suppose you want the things in dollar terms, then you will enter this. IRR is internal rate of return. So as the name suggests, it is something in percentage because returns are always in percentage. So it is internal rate of return. Here you will get to understand that what is the hidden rate of return or implied rate of return which is hidden in this series of cash flows that you are entering basically. Okay. So CF, NPV and IRR, these are the three buttons that you see. Now, sir, if multiple unequal cash flow, we would like to find FV. Yes, thank you for taking that point. That is what my point is. Uneven cash flows. So CF functions come into play when you are using uneven cash flows. When your cash, so suppose whatever cash flows we have entered till now, there was a tone, there was a rhythm in that calculator, in that cash flows. Okay, but suppose what if there is no tone, there is no rhythm? 500, 150, 200, 200, 150, 400. There is no consistency. There is no rhythm in these cash flows. And suppose I want to do a PV of these cash flows, then what I will do? In that case, the cash flow function will come into picture. Okay. So in that situation, as mentioned, keystrokes are also mentioned, but we will do that. Let's one second. Let me put it here and then do that. You will press first CF second clear work to clear any historical number. Okay. And then CF0. What is CF0? The 0th year cash flow. So the 0th year cash flow is 500 negative. So I will press 500 plus minus, enter, arrow down. Then it is C01. That is the first year cash flow, which is 150, enter, arrow down. Now it is asking for F01. F01 means what is the frequency of the C01? Means that 150 that you have entered over here, how many times this 150 is going to be repeated in a row? In a row means 1 and year 2 and year 3, that is consistently. 150 and 150 here is twice happening, but is it in a row? No, because 150 is coming on 1 year and it is coming on 4th year. That is why it is not in a row, and here we cannot do anything. Okay. So we will press a arrow down, that is once only. Okay. C02 means again second year cash flow. In our situation it is 200. So 200, enter, arrow down. Now you see the consistency that 200 is being repeated twice. If this 200 is being repeated twice, I don't have to enter in calculator twice. I can just enter the frequency as 2, enter, arrow down, and then move ahead. When you enter the frequency as 2, although the calculator screen is showing at C03, but this actually number you are entering is the 4th year cash flow. Because when you enter frequency as 2, calculator is smart enough to understand that 200 is happened twice, that is year 2 and year 3, and automatically it will take it for calculation purposes in year 4 only, whatever you enter here. Okay, so the examples that we have designed are intelligently designed, keeping in mind that what we want to teach basically. So the consistency, the disconsistency, everything is covered in all our examples. Okay, C03 is 150. So 150, enter, arrow down, then again arrow down. C04 is 400, enter, arrow down. Now my cash flow is entered. One second, there is a chat. Sir, if 200 is in year 2 and 200 is in, no, how it will affect the result? Result will obviously be changed because your numbers are changing. Means if from frequency perspective you are asking, then frequency we would have entered 1. The number amount should be repeated in a row, then it would be 1. Just like 150 in year 1 and 150 in year 4. So we have entered 1 and 1, right? We have not entered 2 because it should be consistent, like recurring. It should be recurring in the same years. If there is a breakage, then we cannot enter. That will not be considered to be consistent. Okay. Now, if I want to get your this thing, the value, that is NPV. Suppose I want to calculate the NPV. So press the NPV button. It will ask for the interest rate, that is the discount rate. At what rate you want to discount the cash flows? 8% is our discount rate, that is mentioned on question. 8, enter, arrow down, and then you click on the compute button. 351.6, 1086 is the answer. This is your NPV. Suppose you want to calculate IRR for this cash flow, just click on IRR and click on the compute button. 28.6% is the IRR. And all the keystrokes with regards to this is mentioned over here, whatever it is there, etc, etc. Okay, any doubt, any question on the CF function?
So,
Yes.
so in this, can we find at what rate would the IRR be 0? So then, how to find that?
No. At what rate the IRR will be 0?
I mean, when NP is equal to your cash flows, right? That is IRR is 0, right? That time. So
Yeah.
how do you find that?
We cannot. No, we cannot. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. We means you are saying that what is the amount at which IRR will be 0?
Yes, correct.
No, we cannot do that. We cannot. This we cannot. If you can do that, you can do that. So in that way, there is no direct button. But what you have to do is you have to enter all the inflows that you are getting, and you will have to enter the discount rate. But what discount rate will you enter? That is the question. No, you cannot get that. One second. There is a chat. I have a question, sir. If there is no numerical value on PMT, is it necessary to input 0 while calculating TVM? Yes, that would be safe. Otherwise, I think it will show an error. It may not show an error, but it is good to enter 0 always. And one more thing, if you enter 0, if you forgot to do clear TVM, then this habit saves you. Because when you enter 0 and then the PMT, even if in the last calculation there was a PMT value, that gets overridden to 0. So that is why always create that habit. Sharin, I have a question regarding Amort function, which should P1 and P2 after that facing an error message. Yes, you will face an error message because of the settings that we have to do. So that is why I told you that this thing will not work. This is something which is a different setting that for which you have to perform that. Like in format, you have to go and change the mode of that thing, and then you have to. So that is why I told you. Yeah. Moving on to the next CF function. Any other question on CF function or anything till we covered here? Now I move to the data and stat function. No, that's good. Then let's move to this. One second. Yeah, let's move to this stat function. Stats, quants, presentation, statistical concepts, multiplication, revision. Yes. Stat function. We are coming to stat function. Let me quickly cover this. So statistics function covers two things, that is the 7 and the 8. So data and stat function. This is a very important function. Okay, because whatever the x values and y values you get in statistics, you would have seen the x variable, the y variable, and all those things. This 7 serves as the input button where you input the x values and the y values, and 8 will give you all the output. What are the outputs you are going to get? You can see the list from here. N, that is what is the number of observation that is there that you get. Second is x mean, y mean, as you can see. So the mean values you don't need to calculate. You can auto get it with the help of this calculator. Okay. Then sy and hdy, sx and sy are sample hd. So in hd there are two things, that is sample and population. two things are there. You will if you have read the content, you will know sample and population both are available, both becomes available to you on the calculation for both x and y. So it will be done for both x and y. Okay, then your a SDX and SDY, this population, A is the intercept. If you guys recall in your basic straight line class, you would have read something, straight line equation is y is equals to mx plus c, correct? That was the equation you would have always heard about. That equation is y is equals to mx plus c, right? And this equation I use extensively when we explain the straight line concept. In the straight line concept, we always use this where we explain that y is equals to mx plus c. In that, a stands for this your that function, that is the stat function, that is your intercept, while m stands for the slope, that is b over here, and r stands for your correlation. Okay, so this is how these two functions are, like this is what inputs you get. So what are you getting from this function is the n x mean y mean, n x mean y mean, sx sample sd, population sd, and all these things. While these things you will not be in use, these two a and b, but you also get it. Okay, and one very important thing that again very less known among students community is, if suppose you are required to calculate probability weighted mean and probability weighted standard deviation, that is the key to this function. This is definitely very important and this mostly people know. But if I ask you to calculate probability weighted SD, then how are you going to do that? In that situation, you will be required to use this function. In that situation, you will be required to use this function. Okay, now one second, let me connect my computer. Just give me a second. Let me open my calculator. Okay, mirror phone to PC. Start now. Yeah, it has started. Yeah, it's available now. Thank God. Okay, so let me take an solve it with an example. First a normal one and then I will show you. Let me show first how the function works. Okay, so second and then 7 I press. This is where I will enter the data, second and 8. 1 minus v, you see, 1 second. LIN, this is the normal thing. LIN stands for linear. There are 5 types of outputs that you can get using data and stat function. Okay, second and then set ln means logarithm way of things, not required in CFA. Second and then ln, exponential output from statistic data, again not required. This is required in FRM, not CFA. Second and power mode of calculating output from statistic data, not required. This is 1 minus v and this is what I was talking about. Very less known function. Again I am using that second and then set thing only. Second enter, second enter. So first let me explain the normal, then I will show the probability weighted thing. Okay, so first thing is, let's enter the data. So if suppose this is the data, this is only x-axis data, I want to enter both the data in one go. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's enter days over here as data 1 and share price over here as data 2. That is, this becomes your y and this becomes your x. Let's do that. The outputs will not match for y because I have not entered it using y. Just for explanation purposes I am doing that. Okay, so let's enter that together. Yeah, now second and then data x01. What we are entering in x is 8, the share price. Okay, so 8 enter arrow down, that is 1 enter arrow down. So 1 enter arrow down, y01. Then x02, what is the second observation of x? 12 enter arrow down. Then y is 2 enter arrow down. Then x03 is 4 enter arrow down. Y03 is 3 enter arrow down. X04 is 8 enter arrow down. And Y04 is 4 enter arrow down. X05 is 9 enter arrow down. And that is 5 enter. That's it. Now click on second and then start. You have entered the data, that is input is given. Now we see the output. Arrow down, n is 5, we have observed 5 observation. Mean of x is 8.2, sx is 2.8, that means sample hd of the x variable is 2.86, population hd is 2.56. Mean of y is 3, sample hd of y is this, population is this. A, that is if we draw a straight line using these coordinates between x and y, then your intercept would be 3.5 while your slope will be a negative, that is minus 0.06, and the correlation between the two will be minus 0.11. This is how the data is calculated. Okay, moving on to next, that is probability. If, and this is very important because majority don't know this, that if I ask you to use or calculate probability using this probability variance or something, then how you will do that? 1 second. Clear. Yeah. Yes, here it is. See how to activate two things very important when you are using the 1 minus v mode. Two things is very important. Okay, the first is that when solving sum with probability, enter the data assuming x as the outcome and y as the probability. So when you are entering probability weighted thing, your probability will go on y axis, y data, and your outcomes means observations will go on the x axis. Second is you will never enter, you will always enter probability as a number and not as a decimal place. So that means if probability is 15%, if probability is 15%, you will enter 15 and not you will enter 15 and not 0.15. This two things you have to keep in mind when using this function of calculating probability weighted thing. Now coming to our solution. Suppose this is what it is. I have given you in exam also, it can come, and they ask you to calculate probability weighted mean. That's very easy. You and me can easily calculate using bracket 0.15 into 50 plus 0.25 into 80 plus 0.45 into, and so on and so forth. Calculating a probability weighted mean is very easy, no problem. But if I ask you to calculate SD, probability weighted standard deviation, that becomes a challenge, because then you have to draw a big table and then you have to do all the solvings and all the thing. But with this function, it becomes things of a fraction of a second. Now let's see how it works. Second data, second clear work. Okay, I'm clearing the historical input. Now what was told? What was told? In x-axis we will enter the observation, that is the share price that you see 50/80 will go on x-axis, and probability will be entered on y-axis. Number two, probability will always be entered as a number and not as a decimal. This two thing has to be kept in mind. So let's enter x01 is data, that is 50, enter arrow down. Then y01 is 15, enter arrow down. 80, enter arrow down. Y02 is 25, enter arrow down. 120, enter arrow down. 45, enter arrow down. 160, enter arrow down, and then again a 15, enter. That's it. This is all what we have. Now a second and a start. It is in LIN mode and I don't want LIN now, I want 1 minus V. So what I will do, second and then enter, and I will keep on repeating it till I get 1 minus V. Okay, everyone with me? Now do you have 1 minus V? Now you can press a arrow down. See, this is your checkpoint. The total of probability will always be what? The total of probability will always be 100, right? The total of probability will always be 1 or 100. And if you have entered incorrect, your number will not be 100. So this is a checkpoint that all your probability numbers have been entered correctly. Okay. Then press the arrow down. Mean of X. This is a probability weighted mean and not a normal mean. Okay. SX, probability weighted sample HD. HDX, probability weighted population HD. And EX, and then this is something which is not much needed, but yeah, these inputs are there. So you can easily calculate probability weighted standard deviation. You don't have to do things manually. This is very important. Okay. Data and stat function is done. Any question, any doubt you have? Then I will move into this few small functions and then bond function finally.
Hi. Quick one here. I understand we can be able to compute correlation and also covariance with the calculator. Can you kindly go through that before you move on?
Correlation and covariance. Yes. So correlation is automatically, you can do that like 1 second. Suppose if I enter into second and stat, and if I go into the LIN mode, second and then enter the normal LIN mode that you get on your calculator. If I press arrow down, X mean, Y related things, A, B, and then you get a R. This is the correlation. So calculator give you correlation. Now coming to covariance, a very good question. See, I have already written in my material. It will take time to find, so I'm just writing it over here. It's already written in my material. Covariance is what? R into SD of X into SD of Y, correct? That is your covariance. Your LIN can give you R. I have shown you. It gives you SDX, it gives you SDY. So all the three inputs are available to you with the help of calculator. You just need to multiply these three to get covariance and you get your answer. Okay. Is it okay? Okay. Any other question? Okay, let me move on to the next part then. Okay, in the interest of time. 1 second. Yeah, this is the thing. Just yeah, two small functions before I move to bond function, and important. Continuously compounded interest rates, continuous compounding. So let me show you an example of how continuous compounding works and how it is calculated. 1 second. Here it is, continuous compounding, concept of continuous compounding. Okay. Now, in continuous compounding, you should recall and remember that you would have learned ever that there is something called E, which is exponential, and there is something called ln, which is called natural log or logarithm. Okay. If I take E from this side of the equation to this side of the equation, I take it in form of a ln. And if I take ln from left hand side to right hand side, I take it in form of a E. Some basic mathematics I am recalling so that you are able to get the gist of what we are doing now. You don't need to do maths in CFA first. Okay. In calculator, on your calculator screen, you see two buttons. One is the ln and other is e to the power x. So you can do both, number one, with the help of your calculator. Remember that e to the power x, if e to the power x is a negative number, 0.19 something like that, then your outcome will be less than 1. Means, and if e to the power is a positive number like 0.19, your outcome will be more than 1. It will be greater than 1. That means what? That means that this e to the power helps you calculate the PV, present value, and the future value. If you are calculating present value, your e to the power will be a negative number. Power will be a negative and your value will be less than 1. That means less than, the entire thing will be less than what you multiply. And if you are calculating future value, then it will be a positive number. This is a one catch point I'm giving you. We will solve one question also. There are a lot of questions in my master slide, but we'll solve one. Okay. But let me show you how. So this function ln and e to the power x helps us do that. Okay. Now let's solve it. Let's solve one question, then you will get it. Calculate the FV after 5 years of an investment at $2,000 at an interest rate of 6% per annum, continuously compounded. Compounded continuously. How to go about it? This is the formula, and we need to calculate e to the power this. Correct? If we are to calculate e to the power this, then it is 0.06 into 5 equals to, done, 0.30. Now since what you are doing, calculate the future value, and I told when you are calculating future value, your e to the power should be a positive number, correct? Then the resultant will be greater than, then you press the e to the, if you want to do e to the power of this number, then press second and then ln. See, you get the factor of this and multiply it with 2000. You get your answer, that is this one. You can check also. Your answer is 2699.71 or something. Okay. Similarly, you can solve other questions also. I mean, this is available. So this slide, as I told, and the explanation of all the examples are solved on YouTube videos. This is freely available, so you can take the benefit of these slides. Okay. This is covered. Let me cover 2 or 3 small things also first. Factorial. So we all know, and this is also obviously a part of your probability. So in probability, towards the end you will see the topic, that is your NPR, permutation, combination, and factorial. So we all know 5 second factorial. So if I want to do 5 factorial, 5 second, because it is above the button, is 120. If I want to do 5p2, that is 5 permutation of 2, 5 second NPR 2 equals to 20, and similarly NCR also. So 5 second plus and then 2. So all these things are taken care of. Round function I was supposed to tell you. So suppose if I do a 1 divided by 3 equals to, although on my calculator screen, as I told, that it is showing 0.333, 5 digit, 2 digit, 3, whatever your decimal places are, but when you do any calculation, the calculator will take till infinity all the number. So suppose if I multiply this with 1, if I multiply this with 3, then I get an exact 1. But if it actually would have been a 5 decimal places 3 only, I would not have got 1, I would have got 0.9999. So if at any point of time, although in CFA you will not be required to, but if at any point of time you want to remove that effect of that infinite decimal, and you want to only ask calculator to perform calculation based on this, what is there on the screen, you can use this round function. Round means rounding off, round it off basically. So now let's assume I repeat this, 1 divide 3 equals to, right? Now I do a second round function. I have done the rounding off. Now if I multiply it with 3, you will not get 1, you will get 0.99999. Okay, and this is lastly this is your random number generator. Before I move to the final big function, that is bond function, this is your random number generator. So you can give keep on generating in simulation. You would have heard of the word simulation. More you will do of that in level 2 and level 3. In simulation you have to take for random number generation, generate any random number. This can RAND function is a random number generator function which can help you generate random numbers. But again, it is not required in CFA. You will not need to generate random numbers in CFA, so that's of no use. Okay. I think all this hype sine cos 10 is scientific, so it doesn't come in all those functions. That's fine. That's right. So now moving to the final one function, that is bond function. Okay. 1 second. Why my calculator error when enter e power x or second ln? You should have a number with that, right? There is a range with which logarithm can be done. If you type 0.30 on your calculator screen and then press a second ln, it will not create error. There is a range. Logarithm has a range value. If you type 100 and then do a second ln, maybe it will not work because that is beyond the range of logarithm. So it is a mathematical error. So it is a range bound number, just like correlation. It can be between -1 to +1. I don't exactly recall, but logarithm also has a range. So if you go beyond that range, it will be a mathematical error. Okay. The bond function. In fixed income, you will get to use it. Like anything. This is very important function. So, and last function for the day, I think then you will be able to get a complete view of the entire functions of the calculator, majorly all. Second, bond. So let me explain first. And guys, fixed income actually is a pain point. Again, I am repeating, fixed income is actually a pain point. So you will get to do fixed income when you do this, like it will be of great help. Okay. SDT stands for settlement date. That is, what is the settlement date of your bond? What is the settlement date of your bond? Yeah. SDT stands for settlement date. What is the settlement date of your bond? CPN stands for coupon. What is the coupon amount? Not rate. Remember, it is amount. RDT stands for redemption date. Redemption date. That means what is the maturity value, maturity date of the bond. RV stands for the face value of the bond. That is at what face value the bond operates. ACT stands for actual or 360. Again, that same thing. Whether the calculation of the bond is on the basis of actual or is on the basis of 360. 2 by Y or 1 by Y. Whether the bond pays coupon semi-annually 2 by Y or it pays coupon annually 1 by Y. There is no option to do it for quarterly, but there are very limited bonds or limited situations in exam you will find which will ask you to perform this quarterly. Yield. This can be computed. Now what you can get when you input all these things? Yield, price of the bond. You can calculate the price of the bond, exact price. And there is one more thing, because I have not input anything, it is showing error. Now let's plug in the numbers. Suppose there is a bond. The bond matures, bond settlement date is today. Okay. So bonds settlement date is today. So again, I have to plug in date, and now you know how to plug in date. 31st July 2021. So 31.0721. Enter. Okay. Coupon. Let's assume the coupon rate is 10% and it is a $100 face value bond. So that means the coupon amount is $10. The annual coupon amount is $10. Arrow down. the redemption date, that is the final maturity date of the bond. The final maturity date of the bond. Let's assume the bond matures in 2025 December. So that is 31st.1225. Enter. 31st December 2025. Okay. Arrow down. RV stands for face value, that we have taken 100 only. So move ahead. If it would have been 1000, we would have entered 1000. Actual or 360, we can do both, and in fixed income you will be required to do both. So you can switch. Basically we take it as actual only. Actual means 365 days in a year, and 360 means you are doing a reducing the number of days, making calculation easier. Okay, then again a arrow down. 2 by Y. So let's assume it is a semi-annual pay bond, or let's assume for example it is an annual pay bond. Then we will do it for semi-annual also. Now you get the output. You can compute the yield of the bond. To compute yield, first you have to put in price. So you can keep only one variable, one thing as variable, and all other things has to be static. If it is price you want to compute, your yield has to be given. If your yield you want to compute, your price has to be given, and it will be given in exam also. So don't worry about that. So suppose you want to calculate price, or let's assume price is given, the price is 110. So let's enter 110 as the price, and then let's compute the yield. You can compute the yield is 7.25%. Yield is 7.25%. If suppose I change it to 2 by Y, then and compute it, see the yield changes because of the effect of compounding to 7.30. And one most important thing that this calculator automatically computes is the accrued interest. When you will go into clean price and dirty price of the bond, that particular part in CFA level 1 in fixed income, you have to do accrued interest calculation, which becomes complicated at times. With the help of this function, you can calculate it in one go, accrued interest. Because you don't have to calculate the number of days, etc. Just plug in the start date and the end date, means the bond dates, respective dates, and the price and all, the coupon, and this calculator will take care of everything, and you don't have to calculate accrued interest manually. So this is the biggest advantage that the bond function offers. Very, very useful, especially in fixed income. Very, very, very useful in fixed income. Okay. Okay guys, so with this our calculator session ends. I think we took 20 minutes more, but yes, I think it was like worthwhile investment of your time. You would have felt comfortable, and I think this would have increased your knowledge. Okay, duration. What is DUR? 1 second. DUR stands for duration. DUR stands for duration. In my calculator it's not coming. I think your is Texas, that one, professional, BA2 plus professional. BA2 plus professional offers some additional functions, that is NFV, net future value, and DUR, duration function, etc. So in your calculator you will also be able to calculate or get maculate duration with that calculator. DUR is duration. Okay, and that is very good thing. So if nothing is mentioned, we should use, no, it will be mentioned. It will not be mentioned. There are type of bonds. You will have to know, you will know that when you will read fixed income, you will know that there are type of bonds. Government bond use actual, corporate bonds use 360, etc, etc. You will know that. So this is something, there is no like not knowing or anything. You will know that. Okay. So guys, this ends our session. Before we close the session, just one thing, I am open for questions now firstly. So any question, any doubt, anything you have, you can unmute and speak. You can use the chat box. If it is regarding CFA calculator, if it is regarding anything about planning of your CFA exam, you are confused, or you want your any prep guidance as to how to proceed, anything you want, I am staying back. I am there. I can solve your questions, take up all your questions and solve. Secondly, as I've told, we offer different prep solutions for CFA level 1. So different courses, basically masterclass program, which gives 220 hours of video lectures, which you can watch from your laptop, as well as every Saturday we have a live online class. So it's just not that we will give you only video lectures. Every Saturday you can interact, as you can interact with me now. Every Saturday you get an opportunity to ask the instructor. After every class I stay back for half an hour, so you can ask whatever questions you have and everything. Apart from that, question bank, test series, study planner, everything will be provided. Second is the fast track program for November candidates, which will like fast pace your preparation. So within 2 months, if you want to prep completely, solve questions with us, which is very important. So solving questions with us and then revising also with us, there are two legs to it. Everything will be covered and in a fast track mode, especially for November 21 candidates. And third masterclass is for Feb 22 or even November 21 can take it, but you will have to spend more time. And third is the crash course program, where entire CFA level 1 syllabus is covered in 50 hours. So in 50 to 55 hours, everything is covered. You can take that prep also. And lastly, it is, if anyone needs the one-to-one guidance or a one-to-one training session, we provide that as well. So you can say the number of hours you require, or any particular topic, any particular subject. For question answers also, whatever guide you need, you can take that also. So basically we provide one-stop solution, or try to provide one-stop solution, where you can get everything at one place, whatever you need. So anything and everything you need, you have my number, WhatsApp number. It's I'm writing it also over here, and you have received the message basically from that number only. So +91 90380 11206, and from which number you have got the Zoom link, that is my number only. And these prep solutions we provide for all the languages, class languages English, and we provide it globally. So as you have already seen that students from different countries join us. So we are global prep providers. We do it for across all countries. So you be it any country, the questions and concerns related to time zone will be addressed, and you will get to attend each and every class of ours that is there. Okay, fast track has lot of, and tomorrow also we are keeping a fast track free class, Q&A class. So there also you can join us, and you can take the benefit of all the free sessions and all. Okay, and lastly, you can join our WhatsApp group as well. That is free WhatsApp group, as I told, where you can get all the regular updates.